Something I frequently see when talking about painting Warhammer is color schemes and how to pick them, whether it's finding that last color to complete a scheme or where to start in general. And despite typical advice of pick whatever color you think looks cool, there's actually a bit of science and color theory behind this. And today I want to talk about triads. Like the name suggests, a triadic color scheme can be found by placing an equilateral triangle, one with equal sides and angles, onto a color wheel. The most simple or obvious triad would be the primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. Right now we're using a basic color wheel broken into primaries, the ones we just talked about, secondary colors, which are the ones you get from mixing those, such as green from blue and yellow or violet from blue and red, and then tertiary colors. These are the in-betweens, so you get red violets or blue violets, as well as red orange or yellow orange. If we were to turn our triangle, we'll get a new triadic color scheme. In this case, red violet, blue green, and yellow orange. And these are some cool colors, but how do we make this a paint scheme? Well, to start, we're going to need a main color, and in this case I'm going to pick yellow orange. And because the magenta or red violet is also a warm color, I'm going to choose that to be the secondary or supporting color. And that leaves aqua. This one, being the only cool color, really stands out, so I'm going to use it as an accent color. Something used sparingly that will be really striking and help to complete the look. These of course could shuffle around, with aqua being the main color and yellow-orange being the accent. But for now we're going to stick with this plan. For this example I'm going to be painting this Thri-Kreen miniature. He's basically a space bug that is from a Spelljammer D&D campaign I'm playing in. And this color palette is pretty perfect for him. Since we're mainly working with magenta and yellow-orange, I'm going to start by airbrushing the magenta on from an upward angle, building up some rich shadows. Once I have decent coverage, I'll be hitting him from the opposite angle with the yellow-orange from above. This creates a yellow-orange bug with some awesome magenta shadows. This dynamic shadow color adds a lot more visual interest than if I were to just use a darker orange color. And in real life, shadows are a lot more interesting than you might think at first. And now that we have two colors laid down, it's time for our accent color. This dude's eyes are the perfect spot for our aqua blue-green. Once I have solid coverage, I also glaze down some magenta to help build the roundness. And while it looks really cool, it's important to note that all these colors are being used at their full saturation right now. They're very vivid and full of color. And while this bold and graphic look is really cool for a space bug or a sports logo, it might not have the nuance or realism that you're looking for when it comes to painting your miniatures. Luckily, we can mix our own colors out of these. When mixing colors, it's important to think about what colors are inside of them. Let's take our aqua and yellow-orange. The aqua has blue, and the yellow-orange, of course, has orange. Blue and orange are opposites on the color wheel, so mixing them will create something neutral and desaturated. And that same thing goes for our aqua and yellow-orange. Fun little color fact, brown is just a desaturated and darker orange. So let's make our own. I'm going to take our yellow-orange color and add a small bit of our aqua to it, desaturating it, giving us a more multi-purpose color. I take this and add it to the weapons, mostly on the underside. I'm not going for full coverage, instead hoping to add interest and color variety by letting those hues underneath show through. I then do the same to our aqua, desaturating it by adding yellow-orange, creating a blue-gray. I then dry brush this over the weapons to act as a highlight and give it some uniform color. The great thing about mixing colors from your original scheme is that they'll always have harmony with the rest of your miniature, and nothing will look out of place. You can also add white and black and you'll have a complete limited palette, and you'll be able to mix a plethora of colors once you start playing with value. That is the lightness or darkness of these colors. Obviously, there's a few more details to be painted before most people consider this a finished miniature, but I think it illustrates the point well. It's good to remember that none of this stuff is super rigid or set in stone. It's more of a building block or stepping stone. Feel free to push colors to your liking and experiment, especially because the color wheel I've shown, while great for fundamentals and learning, isn't even the only one. If you really want to crack the color theory thing open, I suggest looking up true color wheels or CMYK color wheels, which we could also talk about in a future video. Thanks for watching.